Howdy, ladies and gents. NBA Finals, 2 games in. Welcome in. We wanted to, check in on the finals are going and see where this is all going to head and who's going to come up with that ring, either the first title for the Suns or the first one for Milwaukee Bucks in about 50 years. How have you been seeing the games so far?
Hey everyone, hey Jake. Yeah, man, it's been a story of back and forth and a story of runs. Watching the games, I can see, Phoenix makes a run, then Milwaukee starts making a run, but it's just, I think Phoenix has just got a much more offensive power just for everyone. I think, CP3 can give you 40 and Devin Booker can give you 40. And all these little guys can give you 10s to 20s, and they just seem to flow better as a team. Whereas Giannis, he'll get you your 40, but I don't think he's as big a scorer as KD is.
Yeah, I think you said a pretty good word just there, the flow. There does seem a lot of flow in Suns game, and I watch these guys play, and I think we've just gotten so used to, like LeBron completely dominating a game, right? Completely the ball in his hands, making every play, making all the scores, etc., etc. And you're just used to that type of play. Whereas there's just so much flow to the way Suns play, and you think, what makes these guys so good? Because you don't even notice it sometimes the way they play. But I mean, one of them is that they've got one of the best point guards ever, and a lot of people have been saying that for a long time, right? They've been calling the point guard, but he just hasn't had the he hasn't gone deep into the finals, the playoffs up until this point for a lot of the world fans to see, and even for myself, really. I've always appreciated his skills, but I've always thought point guard was a little bit of a stretch. But his DNA is all over the way the Suns play, and especially that mid-range game that Chris Paul plays so well. And they call it the kill box, apparently, in Phoenix, where they pretty much target the those mid-range corners, essentially, which has become a bit of a lost art, really, in the NBA. It's been all layups or dunks.
The elbow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right on the edge of the boxes, right? And he's doing it. And you can see Devin Booker does it a fair bit as well, out of a lot of pick and rolls. And the last game, Mikal Bridges had a bit of a mid-range game going as well. So I guess it's the lost art of mid-range. They're playing that really well. I think the Bucks tried to take away the paint from the Suns in game 2, but then they hit 20 or 40 threes. That's just enormous, right? 50% from the 3-point line. It's pretty hard to win when the other team's hitting that many 3 balls.
Yeah, Devin Booker had 7 himself. It's just crazy.
Ooh, it's a very evenly spread out team, and you're right. Those other names, like even guys like Cam Johnson, he comes out, plays 12 minutes and drops about 8 points, or sometimes 12, 14 points. Mikal Bridges had that game in game 2. Jay Crowder
with the 27, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that kills you, right? When the other team's 4th or 5th best player comes out and drops 27, you hold Chris Paul, but then Mikal Bridges comes out and drops 27. It's not easy. It's not easy to win. I think it's quite interesting how they've constructed this team as well, right? Suns and really both teams. We can talk about that a little bit. It's been a long journey to get here, right? The Suns, they've been down and out for such a long time, since really Steve Nash and Stoudemire left, and that seems years ago. I feel like I was a little kid when I used to watch Steve Nash and Stoudemire. But how do you see the team build of Phoenix over the last few years?
Yeah, I think they've built around. They had Booker eventually first.
Yep.
And then drafting Ayton and him slowly building confidence and getting into his game. And it was more, I think, one of the commentators saying that he knew he had to give up some of that offensive, always needing to have touches, Dwight Howard mentality to the current Dwight Howard mentality where, team first, defend, if the ball comes to you, let it come to you and just score the basket, and I think that's been really what's working for Phoenix in that the backcourt it synergizes with the front court. Like they're not fighting for possessions. Everyone's bought into it. Because they brought in veterans like Crowder in there. You got Bridges and Cam Johnson, which are they're freshies. Saric has come from the Sixers. And that CP3 trade last year. Geez, what an acquisition! Is all he needed, and I think you can see the leadership that he brought to the backcourt for the Suns. Just to slow it down when you need to. Look for other options and don't think about just shooting for this because. Yeah, it's good when you're hot on threes, but then if you're always just going to pop threes, well, there's a better option.
Yep. Yeah, it's quite a deep team actually when you look at it. Dario Saric has been a pretty good player. He's been a starter for a long, long time in this league. He comes off the bench for these guys. Cam Payne was in the G League and he's playing like a great backup point guard at the moment as well. Mikal Bridges, they scored pretty well getting him over. He was I think they traded with Philadelphia to win his rights on draft night coming out of Villanova.
Yeah.
And obviously DeAndre
Bridges was the one that I think his mum is like one of the big administrators in Philly, and he thought he was going to go play for Philly with his mum there.
Oh.
And he got traded on draft night.
There you go. They could have done with Mikal Bridges, I think. A lot of people could. And Mr. Finals, Jay Crowder, apparently 6 finals for him as well. So, and then the two, well, now you can call superstars, Devin Booker and Chris Paul. It's a pretty good twosome, plus a fringe all-star player in his 3rd season now, DeAndre Ayton. That is a hard. That's a hard team to beat, actually, the way they're playing now and the combination of talent. So pretty cool story, man. And if they do pull it off, they're 2-zip up. If they do pull it off, kudos to them. It sort of feels like they've come from nowhere. They just made the bubble playoffs last year, but it's been building for a while. Bucks. Giannis is doing a LeBron, right? He seems to be the only one that's at this stage in the finals seems to be firing for the Bucks.
Yeah, and I think the only thing about Giannis's game, like compared to LeBron, is he doesn't have that assist game.
Yep. And he's not a good shooter either, right? I guess that's why he's better. He's definitely a limited player, Giannis, but with what he's got, he's absolutely dominant. He's like a skinny, mobile version of Shaq. He just completely dominates the paint. You can't stop him.
I was gonna say he's a more aggressive Ben Simmons.
Tell me about it, right? Shit, man. That is probably a good way to put it. With Ben Simmons with the work ethic and hunger and drive to be the best that he can be. Damn, Ben's getting it hard. Speaking of Ben, so really quickly, I think a lot of teams are actually pitching for him, right? Minnesota is really going hard for him. Imagine, if Minnesota gets Ben Simmons, that's Anthony Edwards, Towns. I think they got a pretty high pick this year as well. They'll probably need to give up D'Angelo Russell, but if they're going to figure out a way to keep D'Angelo Russell, decent team. But a team full of maybe not so hard working dudes. So we'll have to wait and see. But anyway.
Yeah. That's tears, huh?
Yeah. Back to the Bucks.
Yep.
Man, I gotta say, Drew Holiday. I love Drew Holiday. The way he used to play. And I still do, but he disappears a lot. He's just not consistent. You can't rely on him for a consistent 20, 25 points. He's up, down. And for a guy that's making, I think, 40 million, he just signed a 4-year, $160 million extension. So he's on 40 mil. He's a bit, you're not getting that value. You're not getting that value from Drew Holiday. He really needs to step up, and he needs to, I guess he did lock down Chris Paul, game 2. Not lock down, but he tried to limit him. But
tried to.
Yeah, tried to. Exactly. But I think you just need him to fire, and in that back court that the Suns have, yeah, it's I think.
Well, it's funny because Milwaukee, the highest paid player is Middleton. Like he's on 33 mil. Just
what about Giannis?
Soaking up that cash. He's on 27.
Oh, maybe his extension hasn't been kicked in yet or something.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and Drew Holiday's right behind Giannis, 1 mil less.
Yep. I think both those guys' extensions kick in next year, but okay. Yeah, well, there you go. And Chris Middleton, I do really like his story. I mean, the first player from the G League to become an All-Star. It's a fighting team. And if we think about how the Bucks have been building as well, right? They've been building for a long, long time. And Giannis got drafted in 2013, and you could argue that was the first step they took. And remember, it was Jason Kidd, right? Jason Kidd used to be their coach. Obviously, got rid of him, and back 3 years ago, they used to have Malcolm Brogdon. He was the rookie of the year as well. So they made a call to get rid of him. I think getting Drew Holiday has been a bit of an icing on the cake this year, but it's really been primarily through internal development of Giannis and Middleton, and also getting Lopez, who made these guys are like a top 4 Eastern Conference team. So they've been building for a long time too.
I think Lopez, he's been playing really well probably the last 5 games, except like if you go to the Phoenix game, they were a bit, he's a bit underperformed a little bit where they're at, because he just doesn't have the size to compete with Ayton. Like he sort of back down and and it gets scored against.
Yeah, I think Coach Bud has been out coached a little bit, to be honest. Game 1, they switched everything and left Lopez on Booker and Chris Paul. They just killed him, absolutely killed him. I mean, that was a terrible decision. And a decision to just completely let Phoenix shoot threes, take 40 3-point shots, and allow them to make 20 of those. That's backfired as well. So they need to figure out what's gonna work for them. And I feel like even PJ Tucker, right? He had a couple of really huge conference rounds, like against Kevin Durant, but
against it.
Yeah, but he hasn't. I feel like he hasn't really had that lockdown defense this round either. He needs to go hard, man. He needs to go like Pat Bev on someone, like go crazy and just rile these guys up or do something, right? Because I mean, obviously, if they go down 3-0 next game, it's completely over. But you never know. They might. They've been down a few times now, right? They were down 2-0 against Brooklyn, and I think they were down against Atlanta.
It's almost like the Clippers, always going down 2-0.
Yeah, and look, I think they can come back, but they gotta. Yeah, they do have to shut down some of these wing players for Phoenix, and that goes back to defense. and even players like Jeff Teague. I feel like just coasting. I don't know, coasting in the finals is probably a strong word, but yeah, they need more out of the bench
Yeah.
guys.
Well, I think they're only running 7 players. I think the Suns are as well. Really, it's just Pat Connaughton. He's played 12 minutes of the last game. Yeah. With Phoenix, there's not much there as well either. Like it's like Booker and Paul are playing 40+ minutes. Yeah, without Saric as well. So yeah, it's been interesting. A lot of injuries have affected probably the way the team's played and rotated. But yeah, it's a battle of attrition really. I called it out to my mate, making a joke, copying that guy in the crowd saying it's going to be Phoenix in 4.
Suns in 4, huh? Suns in 4. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, man. That guy's that Suns fan's become a absolute superstar. He's should have been arrested for assault, but now he's become a superstar. So there you go. Pretty crazy. Hey, who would you pick to be the Finals MVP for the Suns if they win it all? It's an interesting one, isn't it? Is it CP3 or is it Booker?
It'd be one of the two, and I'm still leaning towards Paul because of the impact he makes overall and not just scoring.
Yeah, I'd say it's Paul, but just I sometimes feel like Devin Booker's contributions kind of minimized a little bit. It is odd. It is odd. I don't get why he doesn't get more recognition.
Yeah.
To be fair, I mean, going forward, he definitely will, right?
Yeah, definitely.
After this finals appearance, but interesting. Yeah, for me, these 2 games anyway, it just feels like Booker's been the better player so far. But you're right. Overall impact, that things you can't even see, right? In terms of how they flow, like you were saying, there's probably more Chris Paul. Yeah.
And you just see it, the whole team's, they're diving for balls, they're fighting for every possession. Some of the guys do it, in the Bucks.
Yeah.
Mainly, I see Pat Connaughton do it. I don't see anyone else doing it for the Bucks.
I mean, you got to see that from PJ Tucker. All the depth players really. That we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, you got to see it for everyone, like Lopez and Holiday. Yeah. But, yeah, maybe they don't want to put their buddies on the line.
Yeah, you'd hope so. I mean, it's pretty big stakes, right, for these franchises. They're like those, when you think about it, they're those small market teams. 2 small market teams going head to head. It doesn't happen regularly. It's almost like an anomaly, really. And both teams have done it through the draft primarily, and then trading in a big name player,
just
Chris Paul.
Yeah, just missing pieces, I think.
Yeah. So they've done it the hard way. They haven't done it through free agency. They can never do it through free agency, right? That's the thing. These small teams, you can never get like those big superstars to come and play for those guys. Really.
Yeah.
So
Phoenix since they're joining the league, 50 years or so, have never won a final.
Yeah. Well, did Charles not win any games? Jeez, did he get swept by Jordan?
Yeah, I don't think I don't know. Like, he's probably won a game, but he hasn't won an NBA Finals, like a championship.
Oh yeah. They haven't. This would be their first chip for sure, Phoenix. But they made the finals with Sir Charles back in the day. Obviously, couldn't knock off Jordan. And Milwaukee, they haven't been to the finals since Lucille. What's Kareem's? I can't even remember Kareem's old name.
Yeah.
Since Kareem was playing for the Bucks, so that's going. We weren't even born then. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I know.
It's cool.
That was 1971. I think they won the one title. That was like 3 years after they joined the league.
It's It's been a lean stretch since then. Yeah, man, it's interesting finals, but I'm sure Bucks will come back hard. First game back home. I think we'll see more from Middleton and Holiday. Lopez, I think Tucker will play harder D as well. So yeah, hopefully some more twists and turns. I've got a bit of a tool of the week. Keeping up with the flavour, we'll go with Ben Simmons at Wimbledon. Might be a little harsh, but apparently Ben's got a new girlfriend. He was at Wimbledon in London watching a little bit of tennis. You'd think he should be practicing his skills, but instead he's in London having a bit of a good time. So Ben, hope you're working out, mate, because yeah, people are going to be watching you pretty hard next year. So Ben's my tool of the week for going to the Wimbledon.
Yeah, I like. Why are you there? He's supposed to be, working on his skills, and that's why he didn't want to go play for the Boomers. What a joke.
That's it. Hey, also, we never mentioned the other day, Jason Kidd back to Dallas.
Yeah.
The Kid coaching Dallas. So that's interesting. I mean, clearly there's a little bit of an urgency to keep Luka happy within the Dallas organization. They got rid of the GM. Carlisle left. Now they've brought in Jason Kidd, an old favorite who's obviously knows Mark Cuban really well and won a championship. And yeah, hopefully they can keep Luka happy. And also Rick Carlisle's gone back to Indiana as a coach as well. So bit of movement.
Big movements, huh?
Yeah. Yep. That's right. Yeah, and lastly, Detroit's got the number 1 pick as well. So that'll be interesting to see who they pick up in whenever the finals.
Yeah, I don't know much about this year's draft.
Cade Cunningham seems to be the main dude. I saw a little bit of him play. He's like a supersized point guard, really. He's like 6'5" point guard.
Yep.
And there's a couple of good guards that played in the Final Four. I think that'll go in the top 4 as well. So yeah, we'll break that down later on. But finals time. Let's hope Bucks bring out their A game.
Yeah, we'll hope. But yeah, mind you, Giannis is still semi-injured, because of his knee. That's why he didn't play towards the end of that Atlanta game. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. The other news of Aussie news. My mate Matthew Dellavedova shouting out, going to play for Melbourne United.
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
Okay.
Back in Melbourne. Going to play. He's signed for 3 seasons, I think. So, yeah. I'll see him in person playing games.
Yeah. Might have to go check him out, actually. That'd be cool. Nice. All right. Well, enjoy, ladies and gents. Let's hope the finals go for a while longer and it goes 7 games.
Otherwise, it'll be a holiday in waiting for the Olympics to see some more basketball.
That's it. Exactly. Cool. Peace out. And pass on our podcast to your friends.
Yeah, that's it. Peace.